The podcast is back. Welcome to Tasler Guide Service. Join along as my guests and I dive into our outdoor adventures, share some laughs, and of course a few beers. A new episode will be released every other Friday at 5 a.m. I hope you guys have as much fun watching as we did making it.
In the last 30 minutes, you caught 15 pounds.
That's tournament fishing.
Right, you just don't give up.
Like the last tournament I fished, which I haven't fished very many, it's the sixth tournament I fished in my whole life, but I was there 2 or 3 days, 2 days before, and did well catching them in location XYZ. And then tournament day rolls around, conditions completely change. It goes from nice seasonally normal weather to like, it was like 95 May 5th.
Yeah.
And the surface temperature of the Missouri went up 7 degrees. All those fish that were in location XYZ went to location Y. Like why did you not just stay there so I could catch you? But we tried that stuff, stuck to our pattern, nothing. Modified pattern, nothing, then switched to something else entirely. Caught a 65 with 20 minutes in the tournament left.
Sweet.
And then had another one on but came off, so we had no bites all day, 2 bites in 12 minutes. Put a 65 in the boat and went from last place to 8th place.
Nice.
One fish.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about catfishing,
yeah.
More so than bass. Like, you catch a 10-pound largemouth, and that's all you catch, you're probably middle of the pack,
right,
bottom of the pack.
Exactly.
Where catfishing, you could catch a 110-pounder, and you're probably not going to win it, but that could put. Well, you could win it.
It would be up, at least move you way up.
Yeah, like you're going to be top 10 in almost every tournament, and then win a lot of them.
Right.
You would win a lot of tournaments with a single 110-pound fish.
That's a
Catfishing.
big fish.
Dude, catfishing's crazy.
Crazy fish.
Yeah.
All right, we doing a podcast now?
We are.
Dude, skip shit. Do I smell poop?
That's not good if he's already shitting in the house.
That's kind of his thing.
I definitely smell shit.
Yeah, he did.
It's a little one though, right?
Yeah.
Been holding it all day till I get to Ryan's house.
Then I'm dropping her.
I made sure he took a dump before we came here.
It's that high fiber diet. I'm bringing a horse over to your place next time I come. No, he shit right before I gave her.
I don't understand what he did. Well, dog should be ready to go now.
I can curl up on my bed and go to sleep.
You hope. Probably got to piss yet too.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Skibby. He literally picked up his turd, brought it in, and sat it at my feet.
Really?
In case I didn't realize that this is now his house, he wanted to show me that this is his house.
You little bastard.
Hey, you got more shit to clean up.
Serious?
Yeah.
He picked it
brought
up,
it in.
brought it, and dropped it at my feet.
In his mouth?
In his mouth. I'm not sure if you can get a refund on that dog.
I'll just leave and forget about him here. Looks like it's Ryan's friend right now.
That's right.
Like I said, there's work to be done.
Work in progress, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's good. You might want to think about turning it into a bird dog. It retrieves well.
Now my pups are going to come in and be like, who the fuck is shitting in the house?
Are you cheating on me?
Yeah,
Oh,
shit.
Well, he's not gonna pee. I can put the cock sock on him.
I don't want you licking me either, dog.
Give me a kiss, bud.
They say a dog's mouth is... Oh, there's another turd right there, Ryan. Don't put your feet out, Ryan.
Oh, Jesus. Landmines. This is impressive. In the shit to time ratio, this dog is world class.
You know, it's a amazing. I'll stand outside for like a half hour
It won't
trying to
shit.
get him to take a dump. Then you bring him inside and he poops within the first 2 minutes of him being inside.
And a lot.
Yeah.
And everywhere. No.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
Skibby.
a good boy.
Woody's like, are you gonna beat his ass or not? I'd have got my ass beat.
Yeah, I would definitely turn that dog into a bird dog. It retrieves well.
Jesus. So proud of himself. Look what I did.
I'm actually kind of impressed, to be honest with you.
Hey, Bauer, you want to kick a hole in the wall too while you're here?
Just throw it in.
Why don't you just go in and piss on Ryan's bed?
That's been done.
Well, Spencer, I haven't seen you for a while, buddy. Welcome back.
Thanks for inviting me over.
Hopefully he doesn't see you real soon again.
You know, I was over here one time in this area for a graduation party, and I had Woody with me, and he took a big deuce right in the middle of it was in the garage, so who really cares? It was in the garage, but that's where everybody was. So he did it right in the middle of everybody. I don't know, maybe it's just how I raise him.
He's not shy.
You know.
He's not shy.
No, it's been a minute, dude. We haven't
It
even
has.
gotten to fish very much. It kind of sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
Not that there's much to catch.
Well, last
But-
weekend would have been fun. Granted, you have important things like your children to take care of and stuff, but
Yeah.
that would have been a fun trip.
Yeah.
Pull that off. Once we're done, we need to look at the calendar and see if we can figure out something to either do something local or go on a trip somewhere.
Yeah.
which
Well, we kind of tentatively have that August 18, 19.
that's like a month and a half away.
And I'm actually almost considering dropping down to 3 days at work, so I got time to get my other shit done.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
So yeah, I need to.
I'm bringing these dogs on my guide trip tomorrow.
Are you?
They'll probably poop and pee in the boat. And it'll be fine.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
It just adds to the ambiance.
Helps with the steak bait.
Was that stink bait? No, it's just dog shit.
Watch him, you'll carry it around.
He'll bait your hook for you.
He was very proud of that one. He wanted to show everybody.
I lost a little respect for my dog.
He gained a little mind.
Let's start out by introducing everybody. Everybody knows Spencer. And then we have Colby and Shawn Angell. And just kind of introduce yourself, guys.
I'm Colby, and I fish nationally on the bass competitive level, and I just travel the nation fishing tournaments.
What national trails are you on?
I'm on the Bassmaster one right now.
But which one is that? Because you have the elites,
It's the Bass
You're not-
Opens. It's the high school opens.
the high school.
Yeah.
Okay, because I knew they had different ones. They got the kayak.
Yep.
They got just the open, and they got
college.
the BFLs. Is that Bassmaster?
That's a different organization.
See, that's tells you how much I know. But yeah, they got college, the opens, elites,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And kayak.
Yeah, kayak.
Cool, man. And
So where does that trail take you? Like, how many states are you going to hit?
This year we only fished one. We had some pretty bad luck. We were in Florida at the Harris Chain of Lakes.
yeah, I've heard about it.
We blew our motor during the tournament,
That's not good.
and then on the way home, we hit black ice and jackknifed the trailer on both sides of my truck. So
Oh wow, you swung it around that hard.
yeah,
Because I jackknifed my trailer on snow, and that was scary. But I was going 25 because it was snow, and I was able to correct everything.
Yep.
The idea of having that thing whip around that
Oh.
hard. How did you keep it? How did you stay on the? Did you stay on the road?
He wasn't driving.
I was asleep.
Oh,
They were all asleep.
You were driving.
I was driving.
how'd you keep it on the road?
Luck. It was on a bridge, so there's
Oh, jeez.
3 lanes, and it just started drizzling. We were southeast of St. Louis.
I was just northwest of St. Louis when I had mine.
The end of January.
Not this year. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, we just came on this bridge and felt that trailer go.
Yeah.
Started correcting the truck. We banged this side, and then we stopped when it was L'd the other way.
So when I was in college, I was a student assistant wrestling coach, kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Basically,
You were out of eligibility,
Yeah.
but not graduated.
So we were going down to a tournament, and like normally you just ride the bus, but the bus had to leave, and I couldn't leave till later. But it worked out okay because there were some other coaches who couldn't leave till later. So I just rode down with them. Well, they made me drive, which it wasn't the end of the world because I was driving. One of the coach was, he worked for a construction company, had this really sweet, like 3/4 ton diesel, brand new, you know, so I got to drive that down, but we were going to Kansas, I can't remember where. Anyway, we went through KC, and once we got close, it started snowing and maybe icing a little bit. I didn't think nothing of it. I'm driving a big badass, you know, 3/4 ton.
Try to stop me.
Yeah. Came up over this bridge in KC, and suddenly I'm sliding sideways 45, 50 miles an hour, and it wasn't catching. And I'm going up the bridge, like not completely sideways, but like at an angle, and I'm just like hanging on, like, hang on, guys.
Everybody else seeing this shit, or is it just me?
As I crest the top of the bridge, there is a car that is like ran into the side of the bridge, 6 lane, you know, through Kansas City.
Yeah.
So I've like conveniently I'm sliding sideways past them, but then there's another one, and then there's a 3-car pileup. I get enough traction to swing it back, so I'm gonna slide into one, and then I get enough traction to swing it back the other way, slide around the other one, and then there's an 18-wheeler barreling by us.
Oh, Jesus.
And I can't remember, I think it was Helby. I guess nobody knows him, so names don't really matter. He reaches across the truck and turns it into 4-wheel while I'm like, you know, fishtailing and stuff.
Oh, man.
And he hits it in 4-wheel, and it didn't make a complete world of difference, but it gave me just a little more zip to be able to zip by that 18-wheeler because he couldn't stop.
Jesus.
Yeah. We got to the hotel that night.
And you were also carrying your shit in your mouth.
I was not. But I never drank a beer, 6 beers so fast. So when I got to the hotel.
Jesus.
So anyway, Shawn,
Yeah.
where do you fit in this?
I drive.
You're the driver?
Yeah,
I feel like you have a better title than this.
Yeah, boater.
Father?
Boater.
I mean, is it
I mean,
father?
well, father to Colby, and
Yeah.
but with the bass, their rules is if they're not 18, they can't drive the boat themselves.
Right.
So they always have a boater. So I get to drive him all over the place, and you know, with the Iowa Youth League, there's a couple tournaments they let the boater fish, so we're not sitting there for 8 hours completely bored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it is just sitting there watching the boys fish and driving the boat to wherever they tell me they want to go. So.
I'm assuming there's some trash talking involved.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they hear it. It's like, you know, when they start missing
You
frogs.
say you
it's
probably
like-
don't want to miss a blow up on the top.
They do, though.
I hear about
And
it.
they hear about it. Can't win tournaments by missing fish.
That's
I
right.
mean, you can't weigh them if they don't end up in the boat.
Right.
I have learned that.
Stuff to do.
I feel like we just
So-
hit a nerve.
I think so.
At least I don't cast 30 feet into a tree, so.
Oh, I've done that.
Yeah. I did that at Brush.
I think I've seen you do that like 6 times in a row.
Yeah, because
Yeah, see, so it's common.
where we parked the boat at, there was a branch hanging down, and I'm like, and then there's this root wad right in front of it, and that's a good spot to catch flatheads. So I tried to sidearm this bullhead into the root wad. It got a little high and hung it in the tree, and I'm like, son of a bitch, popped it out. Like, I'm still putting it in front of that root wad, and I made like, I think I put it in the tree 3 times.
We didn't catch a fish there. Just, you
Yeah,
know.
you did. Like 4 hours later, after you dropped this
Oh,
off,
yeah, I
another
went back
50
in
yards downstream. Like, I knew it was a good spot.
I positioned my boat a little bit closer.
Yeah. You're smarter
It
than
was
me.
more of a diddy pull. So
I'm more stubborn than you.
that is true, and it leads to greatness at times.
Oh, I'm terrible.
Well, you kind of are running a limited tournament trail this year, right, Cole?
Yeah, right now I'm mainly just fishing for the Iowa Youth Fishing League, and
How many tournaments? All right, let's backtrack. So you fished the Bassmaster High School Series,
Yes.
and you fished one event this year.
Yes.
How many events are there total in that series?
4.
4.
Okay. And are most of them in the summer so you can travel easier, or?
More spring.
Oh, so they're during school.
Yes.
That's annoying.
Yes.
And is that soccer season too?
The later ones are.
Okay. Because you're playing soccer. Right?
Yes, I play soccer.
So do you skip practice and games and stuff to fish?
Yes.
All right.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, you're not gonna go to college and play soccer.
No.
Yeah.
Probably gonna go to college and,
I mean,
and
people
fish.
do.
They do.
Not Colby.
Not this one.
He's pretty damn good at soccer.
But at least you
though. He really is.
like it's cool that you
he's fun to watch.
prioritize that. Like, because I was the total opposite, and I had everybody chirping in my ear growing up, like, play sports because you'll only be able to play them so long. You can fish for the rest of your life. And while there's some truth to that, and I don't regret anything. It's just cool to see somebody doing something different.
Well, it's a lot different than when you went to college or I went to college. They didn't have these opportunities.
I don't fish for bass.
I'm about to start.
The last time I went fishing for bass was probably 8 years ago, and it was fun.
Yeah.
We went punching, and I never went punching before, and to be able to freaking smoke, like you pop in a little pocket and some in pads or whatever, and you feel that little bump and see your line wiggle a little bit, and you reel down and just tee them up, and then I caught a 6.5. Like, I felt good, you know. I'm like, man, I just conquered bass fishing. So I'm like, this shit's easy.
I went bass fishing this week. I had there's a local pond that the owner's been to 3 times this year and couldn't catch shit.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted me to put my boat on, run the fish finder, and just see what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I took Stella and 80 minutes, we probably caught 40 fish. We just stacked them up.
There's a couple in there.
Bass, bass, crappie, bluegill. He said there's walleye and perch, but I didn't see anything that resembled those on the fish finder. But yeah, we just stacked them up. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I was bass mastering. That's right. You came out and was getting stuff out of the boat right after that. Is when we headed out.
So you got the Bassmaster High School Opens. There's 4 events. You hit one. Then you have the Iowa Youth Fishing League. Which, who runs that? Is that their own thing, or they ran through a different tournament series?
They're their own thing, but they partner with Bass and MLF.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. So they partner with the big ones. How many tournaments are you in that one?
We usually have 14.
Oh, so you're busy with those.
Yeah.
Like, that's quite a bit. And so they run, I mean, is that all Iowa, or is it all over?
That's just strictly Iowa.
So you probably start what? You start in April?
Yeah.
Usually last weekend of April is first tournament.
And they run till
Mid-October.
Oh, so yeah. Is that every other weekend?
Close.
Close.
Yeah. So where you got one Saturday down at Rathman, big fish fishery, tough fishery.
Yeah.
You might catch more hybrid stripers than you do largemouth
Exactly.
bass. And they kind of probably look similar on the old forward-facing sonar.
A
Exactly.
little bit.
You know, both enjoy those main lake points. God, I should just bass fish.
As long as it's for wipers, I'm in.
I talk shit on bass just because it's fun, because everybody loves bass, and I'm like the minority. But I geek out on all fishing.
Yes.
You know, like, I don't go target bass a lot, but man, when I was punching, it was fun. Throwing top waters is fun. So yeah, I guess I just pay attention to everything. So you got Rathman, then what?
I believe it's state on the Mississippi.
No. 2-dayer at Prairie du Chien on the Mississippi.
Okay.
Little 10.
Yep.
They use that one to get ready for the state tournament, because the state tournament will be up there, same place.
Okay, so you have a 2-day
A
event,
2-day to pre-fish.
To pre-fish for state is really what it is.
but it's a tournament.
It's a
Yeah,
At
tournament,
the same time.
and state will be 2 weeks after that,
Gotcha.
Nice.
so.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And that's probably, I don't know, what's the target up there? Is it largemouth or smallmouth? Or can you go
Largemouth.
either?
You go both.
either. But largemouth are definitely easier to catch.
But which one's bigger up there?
You could probably catch more big smallmouth than you could more big largemouth.
But the smallies are tougher.
Yes.
So that's the catch-22.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how that's always like a thing? Like catfishing, example. You go to there's a river in West Virginia called the Kanawha, which I've never fished it, but like I said, I geek out on fishing. I research and look up as much as I can, and research it means I veg out on YouTube videos. And then actually what I'll do a lot is read articles while I'm watching a YouTube video.
To see if they line up?
Yeah. or read an article and listen to a podcast. There's a few catfishing tournament podcasts that I'll listen to, or at least ones that touch on tournament fishing. But the Kanawha, you can target the blues or you could target blues or flatheads. Like those are your two main targets there, kind of like largemouth versus flatheads. The blues have largemouth.
There you go.
Yeah, but how does it work out? I think the flatheads are actually more plentiful than the blue cats there, but the blue cats get bigger, that are tough to target.
So you put 5 flats in and then you start blue catfish?
I mean, that'd be a strategy you could do. Like
Yeah.
you could put 5 largies in the boat and then go start with smallmouth. But
Yeah.
what if the morning bite's where it's at?
Yeah.
Then you gotta am I gonna burn 2 hours fishing for smallmouth and then blank and then miss the good morning bite for largemouth and then finish middle of the pack or lower?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just, that's the thing. Like, I'm getting into tournament fishing and I'm kind of geeking out over it.
And 9 times out of 10, the decision you make is going to be not the right one. And
Right
then-
now.
Yeah.
You gotta take, I think you gotta take your lumps, man.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you don't get beat up a little bit, at least at the beginning of tournaments, I just, those guys don't seem to last.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it keeps you hungry. You know,
Maybe.
you don't start at the top of the food chain.
I mean, there's a local guy who, he's freaking hammered the last year or two, but there's no buts. He spends the most time, he started tournament fishing, marginal at best, and he just got progressively better, and he's leading the points in the catfishing tournament series I'm looking at doing.
Is that Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to call him out.
Well, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not saying that he's a douchebag. You're saying he's leading the points.
Well, I want to keep everything. I just want to keep everything even.
Yeah.
If I would have called him out for being a douchebag, I wouldn't have said his name. And if I would have called him out for being a nice guy, I wouldn't say his name. I just want to keep everything even. But yeah, he got beat up a little bit at the beginning, and then he learned and got better and better and better, and now he's doing awesome.
Yeah.
Kicked my ass at the last 2 tournaments.
Well, he lives on the river, the big river. He's there all the time.
Spends most time.
Yeah, he's there all the time.
He works the hardest.
Yeah.
Instead of wrestling, who's on the mat, who's in the gym the most, who's working out the most, who's fishing the most.
Yeah.
Same concept applies.
That's exactly right. Because you got to hit every different scenario so you know what it looks like when it's game time.
Yeah, and that's where I struggle with, not growing up on those types of waters. I'm sure you see, you went down to the Harrison chain.
Oh,
Is that anything like you've ever fished?
No, giant lakes.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, so, then what do you do when it's staying there? What do you do if you get a big rain event and it comes up a foot and gets muddy? What do you do if, the water drops a foot?
I have nowhere to go.
Right,
Yeah.
I fish
you gotta figure these things out over time.
I would start with worm and a bobber.
We can't use that. That's a thing.
Good way to get disqualified, but hey.
Well, let's say, you're fishing a turn around here, any tournament. Conditions change, what do you do?
Just adapt during the tournament.
But what's that mean? What are your actions? You say you
Go
adapt.
go fish new water and see what's going on.
Just poke and prod and try to find them?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Electronics are a good thing.
Yes.
So, this is how I feel about electronics. I think electronics are a great thing.
Yes.
But I don't think there's any substitute for knowledge. If you have knowledge, like I'm talking about these changing conditions, think about how much time it takes you to look for fish when you don't know where to look.
Exactly.
But if the water comes up a foot and they're probably going to do this thing. And if they're not doing this thing, then they're doing this thing. And you have a progression of places.
You just cut your search distance in half.
in time.
Yeah.
You are suddenly on them in 2 hours instead of 2 days.
Right, that's the thing about electronics. Like you said, you got to know where to go, and you can go there. And the good thing about electronics, you put it in the water and you look. There's no fish there. I'm not going to waste 30 minutes here just casting and get nothing.
Right.
We move on to the next spot.
Right.
And that's how we use the electronics.
Sure.
So-
And that's exactly what I'm saying too. But you don't, if you have the knowledge, then you don't look, you know not to worry about checking these spots because you already know they're not there.
Right.
So you can just go on down your progression of knowledge. And that's where I'm struggling. You know, like these big bodies of water are pretty new to me, and man, I got a lot to learn. I've had some success, but I've got my teeth kicked in quite a few times too.
Well, that kind of drives you too. I mean, you're an athlete. You're someone who.
If I catch them, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
If I don't catch them, I get pissed. You know, like I just get
that makes
mad at them.
better power. You know, because you're not gonna quit. You're not gonna stop.
No.
It's just gonna make you better. So, it's a.
That fishing, probably shittier life. And, you know, like communicating with people I care about and stuff like that.
But screw it. I'm a better fisherman.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hopefully they understand.
Give and take.
Hey, my grandma learned how to text. So
Whoa.
that makes it a lot easier.
That does. That
I
does.
sent her a picture of that one I got the other day, and she thought it was pretty cool.
I bet.
At least that's what I got through her texting.
When was the last time you went and played bingo?
Last summer. I gotta go. Oh, thanks for the reminder. I gotta schedule some bingo with my grandma.
She's like hardcore bingo, isn't she? Like
It's one definitely. She likes to gamble a little bit. You know, like she likes bingo. Her main thing's bingo.
Yeah.
She'll dabble with the slots a little bit, but she loves her some bingo. And she really likes playing bingo with us. So
Yeah, I bet. You touched on the slob that you got last weekend.
we did.
Yeah, you talked about your big one.
Did I talk about it? No.
You just your grandma.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I just sent the text to my grandma.
So let's talk about it. That thing is ginormous.
The fishing was brutal, and we got lucky.
Yeah.
It was cool. So talk about putting patterns together. I had an idea of a pattern that I thought would do well at night. Not that it'll help me with tournaments, but I like to camp. And then I like to camp on like sand, you know, comfortable places, have a nice campfire and stuff. And I'm like, where could I put my camp that would give me a shot at a big fish? And I'm like, I don't know, there's a handful of different things I want to test. And this was the first one. And like the first night I tried it, we got 24 or 20-ish. The next night we got an 82. And then the next night we got 57.
Oh hell yes.
Well, actually, the 57 was on pattern number 2, so that was neat. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm batting 1,000 on nighttime patterns. At least at this current water level, you know.
Yeah.
It comes up 10 feet, then who knows? Like I got other stuff I got to check out. But yeah, 82. I had just fallen asleep. Like we pulled up. We didn't even do a campfire that night. Yeah, we did. We did a campfire, sat around the campfire, then I went to bed in the boat that was pulled up on the bank. We had our rods and rod holders in the boat, and I like that just because they're more solid. You know? I don't like running them in free spool for blues with circle hooks. I'll just back the drag down, turn the clicker on, so when I hear the clicker rolling, I have like 3-4 pounds of drag pressure. It takes a pretty decent fish to pull that, like at least something over 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And if they pull the line off, they're hooked most of the time. So I get up, tighten the drag down, crank down on them to really make sure they're hooked. So I woke up and I heard just a quick, you know, and then heard splashing. And hey, you keep it down over there, shit eater.
We have all kinds of energy now that we got shit out.
All right. Anyway, so I heard that zzz, and then splashing, and then I get up, run to the rod, the line's slack. So I crank the drag down through like a turn or two, and then reel. And as I'm reeling, I see this wake of water like coming at the boat. So that tells you how shallow this
Get
is.
the barrel ready.
Won't go down to 3 barrels. But I catch up with him, and then just line. And then he turns around, and line leaves the reel. You know, and it just went. I mean, I had pretty good heat on him. It wasn't the longest fight in the world. I haven't went back to the footage that's where you know for sure. But in my mind, it was about 2 or 3 minutes. But when I saw him splash in the moonlight, because it was almost full moon, his tail was tiny. Like, how is a 40-pound fish fighting this hard? Like, on that river, dude, they might as well be a different species. They fight twice as hard there as anywhere in the freaking country. Like, you catch a blue down in Bama on one of them reservoirs, catch a 30-pounder on catfish-sized gear, he's at the top of the water splashing around in 15 seconds. Not out of this river. Like, you hook a 30 and you watch him hit that cat rod. That rod looks like it wants to cry. You know? But anyway, I'm duking it out with this thing. Get him the boat, he runs. Get him the boat, he runs. Get him the boat. Then the head pops up, and I'm just like, holy shit! Did not think you were that big.
You're a bobblehead.
Right. So Corey puts him in the net. Seamless. He was hooked good. So, and which is good because I had a lot of drag going on him.
Yeah.
And get him in the boat, and I still didn't quite realize how big he was. And then I went to lift, like, Corey's got the net, and he tries to lift him, and it's like, oh, you know, he's got a bad back. I was like, do you need a hand? Yep. Pull him in the boat, and when I lifted him up, I was just like, wow. We set him on the floor.
Is he caught on something?
Well, and I caught one earlier this spring that I thought was 75, 80 pounds, and I put him on a scale, and it was 65. I mean, you can't
That's humbling.
You can't be that disappointed.
That's it? 65? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be disappointed at 65, but it wasn't what I thought he was. So I got him in the boat, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of like that fish, but I think he's bigger. And then we guessed, so I think Corey guessed 85, and I guessed 79. Hung him on the scale. In the net it was 87, so that net weighs 5 pounds, so 82 pounder, man.
Yeah.
And then I'm holding him for pictures, and another rod gets hit, and I'm like, Corey, take the goddamn picture. Don't worry about the fish. And I could see it. He couldn't. It was just like a little bounce, like he wasn't a big fish. I'm like, dude, this is my biggest catfish in my life. Just take the damn
Let's
picture.
get a good one.
Yeah. He's like, oh, wait. And you could just see the angel and the devil on his shoulder.
Screw that guy.
So he turns around and reels down on it real quick, and then has to like explain himself. Like, oh, but he gets a picture taken. We get him back in the water and swims away. So then the next night, we fished all day. That day, didn't catch a fish. Fished all day. The next day, didn't catch a fish. And then Corey caught 57, 5:15 as the sun's coming up.
Really?
Yeah.
So you might want to work on your daytime patterns.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like your nighttime is pretty legit.
That's why I was saying, like, I don't feel confident. You know, like at nighttime, even if we only caught 2 fish that night, caught one the night before and one the last night. It's not like we're pounding on them, but
No.
we got lucky and caught some.
But they're good fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we caught like a 5, a 10, a 10, a 20, then maybe another 5. Yeah, another 5, and then an 82. You know, and a 57. Like, there was a lot of disparity between them.
Which is different with blue cat versus flathead. Usually those 50s aren't hanging out with the 5s
You
and
know,
10s.
they're in the same area, just not at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, you could fish a hole that has a 50 in it, and there could be 5s in there, you know, but, and I've had nights where I've caught nice ones and small ones, but I don't ever catch them at the same time.
Yeah. Like hours apart.
Yeah.
Like the little ones kind of shut off and then you get a big one.
Yeah. I mean,
A lot of
flatheads are weird, though. It's like, do they shut off? They're always shut off. And then every once in a while they turn on, you know, like a fish turns off.
I know there's 5 of you looking at me right now.
Yeah. But it was a cool trip. It was a grinder. We were out there 3 nights. Yeah, it's the longest I went without a shower in a long time. It felt good to take
Great time of year to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't hot or anything.
No.
Well, that was one of the problems with the trip. Is we had a bunch of rain at the beginning, and the river didn't shoot up, but it came up 1.5 foot, got muddy with a bunch of debris floating down the river. I was planning on going down there and bumping. We bumped a bunch. Before the river shot up, first bend we bumped. We had 2 fish in the boat in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's 2 of the
Like
7
planned
fish
it.
we caught in the next 2.5 days. So like, we were just on the wrong side of the front, but man, I'd like to learn how to catch them on the wrong side of the front, because a lot of people don't. And if I can and other people can't, then suddenly I'm looking pretty good in the
Yeah,
tournaments.
absolutely right.
So are catfish tournaments at night or during the day?
There's both.
Is there?
Most of the all the national level ones are daytime. There's a regional series that I'm fishing off and on that they center on the Missouri River. And Missouri River historically is good during the day, fall, winter, spring. Also good at night then too. But the summertime day bite, it's tough unless you can bump. And even if you can bump, you got a rise in the river, fills it up with junk, bump and bite gets tough.
Yeah.
So most of your summer tournaments on that particular series are at night. A lot of other series kind of mimic that. I don't like night tournaments. I'm probably going to fish a night tournament the second week of August because you can win a boat and a truck at $50,000. So,
It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Throw your hat in the ring and see what happens.
I think you got to get 3 fish for 190 to get the boat and the truck. Like you can win it and not get the boat and the truck.
Oh,
You gotta
that's
win
an
it.
added
And
incentive.
catch 3 for like 180 or 190, which is possible.
That
But that'd be a hell of
crazy.
a night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been done.
Yeah, you put a 110 on, you still got 80 pounds to go.
Exactly. In 2 fish.
Yeah.
You know, like you need a couple 40s,
Yeah.
which aren't dinks.
No.
So basically, yeah, 80-pound average to get the boat and the truck. I think that's it. I need to go back and look at it, but I'm pretty sure there's some stipulations like that. That's a 7 p.m. to 10 a.m. grinder. So you get the daytime, nighttime, and daytime again.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenarios you're going to have to run through on that.
Yeah, like how do I function on no sleep?
Well, you're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
You've had years of practice.
Yes and no, man. Like I'm getting soft.
Back when you were teaching and we'd go camp out all night, and, we'd get 3 hours of sleep and then you'd go teach.
And that's when I started drinking a pot of coffee a day.
And then
Probably not good for me.
Then you'd go back out and fish that night.
I would. It was fun.
It was a good time.
Yeah, still is.
It was a great time. Cole, back to how long have you been fishing tournaments?
4 years.
4 years?
Yep.
It's like half your life.
Oh, a fourth of it.
And you won it 1 year, right? Angler of the Year? 1 year?
Yes, that was 2 years ago.
Walk us through that. Like, that's the Iowa tournament, or the Iowa club, right?
Yeah, so they have now they have a high school angler of the year and a junior angler of the year, and depending on how you do in tournaments, you get more points versus everyone else, but you can also do like volunteer stuff, and they have educational events to help you learn and stuff, and then you can get points through that, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the year is angler of the year.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So if they wouldn't have had the extracurriculars, would you have still won?
Yes.
Yeah. So does that make you mad that somebody could have beat you, even though you outfished everyone for Angler of the Year? I mean, it didn't happen.
I mean-
but what if it did?
I wouldn't be like super mad about it, but it would have been a little upsetting.
Sure. Walk us through the season. So I'm sure there was highs, I'm sure there was lows, but I want to know what an Angler of the Year season is like, because you had 14 tournaments, man. Like to pull out Angler of the Year for 14 tournaments,
That's pretty
it's
impressive.
not like there was 3 and you got lucky on 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
You
like
caught that 1 7-pounder and it won you the year.
that's why baseball seasons are 162 games.
Right.
Cream rises to the top and off.
Just not with the Cubs hat
No,
on.
they won.
Well,
They didn't win yesterday.
It won't be
They
in-
about pissed it away like they did the day before, but
it won't be in St. Louis this year either.
no.
No.
But
No.
see, that's the kind of fan I am. The fact that St. Louis is garbage doesn't make me happy at all. Like I would rather the Cubs and the Cards be neck and neck all season, and then the Cubs make it, and then the Cards squeak in as a wild card, and then the Cubs beat them in the National League Championship and win the World Series.
See, that's where we're different. I want the Cubs at the bottom.
Yeah. See, I wish goodwill.
And
on everyone.
usually they
are.
obliged.
I mean, yeah, usually I get my wish.
Yeah, you got to be an Iowa State fan.
No. No.
That's what Iowa State fans do. They're like, I want the Hawks to lose and the Clones to win every day. And I'm like, Or the other way around.
Other way around.
Yeah.
Like that's what the Hawk fans do.
No, not this one. I want.
Well, you're
I
not
want,
a true fan.
No, I am. What the hell? I'm not a true fan. I want the
I've
Hawks
got a
to
tattoo
win.
on my nutsack. That's a true fan.
I want the Cyclones to be 11-1.
Turkey on one side, Cy on the other side.
I want the Cyclones to be 11-1.
One loss to the Hawkeyes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I'd rather have them be 1-11, but not beat the Hawkeyes.
No. See?
They can beat one of the
I'm
Texas
just a nice.
schools.
I'm just a
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, they can take out Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Or whatever team they played the second week every year. That-
Yeah, I'm just a nicer person than you, Sean.
You are.
Scientific facts.
Probably why I'm not winning any tournaments.
That's right. So, back to the grind of winning the Angler of the Year.
Oh,
I believe I won 4 tournaments that year.
4 out of 14.
Yeah, but I got top 3 in most of the others.
Nice.
But there was some lows where I didn't catch any fish. I'd blank a few tournaments, but
Gotcha.
it didn't affect me too
It's
bad.
mainly the boat driver, I think.
Yeah.
Probably. Put him on the wrong lake. Wonder why there was no boats around.
How many people? How many kids? Other kids are you competing against? How many boats in these youth tournaments? Like it ranges, but what's like your range?
For a normal tournament, I'd say like 15 high school teams. But there's over 100 kids in the entire league.
So it'll range from tournament to tournament.
Yeah,
Probably
some
proximity plays a thing.
Some tournaments have more than the others.
Yeah, like this lake just happens to be close to a lot of kids.
Right.
They
Yes.
always fish this one.
But they're not going to drive 3 hours to hit this other one.
Right. So what's the most kids? Like, what's the most boats you've had in a tournament? Average
Harris-
15. No, I'm
Or
talking
for
the
the-
Iowa Youth Fishing League.
Right, 2021.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a good field.
No, I
So that's
That's
40 anglers.
40 kids.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about what the participation's like.
The average is probably 12 to 15 boats.
Yeah.
But like you said, depending where it's at. So like Rathbun, there'll be a lot. So there's a lot. Well, there's a lot of Southeast Iowa kids.
Okay.
So Rathbun, Belvedere,
12 mile, 3 mile.
well,
Those are all pretty good fisheries, though.
They
too.
are.
Yeah.
but now when we go up to Okoboji, there won't be as many.
And that's the
'Cause those
best
kids-
fishery in the state.
Yeah.
Right, but they don't want to drive five hours
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, everybody up there fishes for walleyes.
But, right,
They don't like them green and
browns.
fish.
No.
Yeah.
And it's probably the best channel cat spot in the state as well.
Till now.
It was.
Way to go.
Good luck finding them. But when you do, they're
It's
jumbos.
not that hard,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Have you ever had, this tournament, so you're talking about, I'm the nice guy, Sean's not. Which makes me think, have you ever had any confrontations on the water in the youth fishing?
We had one at Okoboji last year. Some guy, he was in an apartment building. And
So this isn't with another tournament?
No, I've never had it with another tournament.
Well, yeah, we have. Down at 3 Mile, we were frogging a
Yeah.
bank,
Yeah.
and they knew where we were going. And we got to the end, and we turned around because we got quite a few bites.
Mm-hmm.
We turned around. Well, this boat come in
Behind you.
50 yards in front of us
Oh.
when we were going back.
And cut you off.
Things were said.
Yeah.
I talked to the tournament director afterwards. I said, "You got to do something." They knew where we were going,
Yeah.
and they took fish from us.
Yeah.
So-
Did you beat him at least?
Yeah.
We won that.
Yeah.
So they.
So it wasn't quite as upsetting as it could have been, but
Yeah.
still, you know,
Yeah, they
And that
pulled a
seems-
7.5 right in,
And that's
right
a-
out your top.
kind of the problem. I mean, some of these lakes that these kids are fishing aren't real big lakes,
Well, and that's
and you
another
got
reason-
18 boats. You're
that's
gonna
another
kind of
reason
be
I
on
wanted
top
to
of each
know
other.
How many boats there were? Because
Yeah.
like 3 Mile, tiny.
Right.
You know.
So,
Especially bass habitat.
but the good
Now, there's
thing
a
about
lot of
these,
trees and stuff. but
Yeah.
They mainly hold the crappie and the walleye. And
right?
I mean, there's bass out on the trees.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
that's
sure.
just it. That's the thing. You'll see all those junior teams just banging just banging the bank all the way.
But the big
These
dogs
kids-
hang in the branch.
Right, these kids have learned how to
I'd beat your
go off.
ass too.
No, you wouldn't, because I'd have a crappie this big on me. I'd just drive it down.
Yeah. These high
A
school
win's a
kids,
win, fucker.
the high school kids have kind of learned how to fish offshore, so we're not.
Well, forward-facing sonar makes everything.
Oh yeah.
It does. It does.
So, not knowing a ton about bass fishing, or at least the history and progression of bass fishing, were there dudes out fishing like those trees before forward-facing sonar?
Well, you had side view and down view probably, but when fish finders weren't a thing.
Well, no, we're not going to the Stone Ages.
Now, people that crappie fish hook into a 6-pound bass here and there. That would,
But it's different in a tournament, man. Like,
yeah.
you're trying to get your best 5. So would that be like a viable strategy of catching consistent 5? Were people trying to do that prior, or was? I didn't hear about.
You'd
it,
almost have to know that there was a brush pile there.
But if you see a
and then-
standing tree
Yeah.
poking out in the water, were
Oh,
they just fishing those?
I think they were.
Yeah.
I think they were
Oh, yeah.
flipping and yeah.
Okay.
Forward facing sonar was definitely a changer for that though.
Oh, dude, I'm trying to figure. Like, I have a bunch of ideas because I have it,
Yeah.
but I don't use it very much just because it's kind of a pain in the ass. I got the ice fishing bundle, but I got a mount that I can put on a ram ball on my boat.
Yep.
But it's just taking up room and it bothers me, and I should just get over it. So there's got to be an application to catfishing that's going to put you a step up.
Yeah.
It's probably more of a lake thing,
Yeah.
but there's got to be some river applications too. Like, dudes are using that. Well, the other problem with catfishing is like, they'll hunker down,
Yeah.
and they'll be buried in shit where smallies and largemouths,
They're kind of
They'll
suspended.
suspend.
they'll suspend
Yeah.
more. I mean, they'll bury down too.
Yeah.
Right.
And those fish just ain't eating probably. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
like the fact you can't see them, who cares?
Right.
You know, you're looking
Yeah, they might as well not be there anyway.
Right. But so I don't know if it'll be quite as groundbreaking in catfishing as it has been in bass and crappies, but maybe it is.
You never know.
Maybe I'll be the guy who figures it out. Then I'll run the table on some catfish tournaments and take people's lunch money.
That'd be sweet. That would be sweet. So when's your next tournament?
Maybe August 5th, and definitely August 12th.
Back to backs.
Well, the 5th one's up in the air because I'd have to use my boat.
Yeah.
And Corey's building a live well. Removable one.
Just throw it in.
Yeah, and it's a body of water where a jet isn't like a major setback.
Downfall.
Like, imagine how fast your guys' boat go?
Fastest we've had it is like 68, but it'll probably run 70, 75.
It all
Right.
depends on how much fuel and tackle we got on it, but
Right.
yeah, it'll go 70.
So it'll zip around. Like most cat boats are going 50 or 60, so not quite that fast. Although there is a company that makes a catfishing boat that will go 75 to 80. Like they put a 300 on the back.
Right.
There's no horsepower restrictions in catfishing either.
And there is in bass.
Right.
Right.
My boat goes 32.
Well, funny you say that because we did have a tracker with a 60 horse, and then he wanted to start fishing those national opens.
Yeah.
And I started looking at these body of waters,
They're
like
huge.
like Harris Chain. It's 5 different lakes.
Yep.
We would spend all day just running across a lake. So I'm like, we need to upgrade. So
Yeah.
we sold that one and then ended up buying one. He went from a 60 horse to a 250. Kind of an eye opener.
Almost scary till you get used to it.
It is. It is.
But that was kind of my point. It's not that I'm worried about getting from spot, like getting beat to the spot so much. You just spend an all damn day driving
Right.
from where I need to go. This body of water, it's the Mississippi, but the Mississippi over by Muscatine has a bunch of backwaters. So in theory, I mean, I've never been on it, so I'm just speculating here. But I'm like, this might be the one where there's a game I can play. I can be the Keith Poche of catfishing at this tournament and be able to zip into these backwaters and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Where the guys with the big rigs that
They're not getting back there.
they need 1.5 feet, 2 foot of water. I need 4 inches. You know. Like,
Yeah. just is that one fish back there. You know, I mean, that's all you need. You need that one fish. Ridiculous.
I never turned it off. It just shut off on its own. I wasn't recording all the time.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I hope you're right.
I hope so too. This may be like a 15-minute podcast by the time it airs Friday morning.
We'll just save the audio and we'll just put it on audio.
Yeah.
Anyway, more technical difficulties. Back to talking about colleges. So most of the best schools are big schools, except Bethel is small.
Adrian's not very big. They're up in Michigan, though. That's what's surprising.
Yeah.
Because they're one of the top ones, but they only get open water 6 months out of the year, 7 months.
You're traveling.
Right.
You know,
right.
As far as your at-home practice, it's different, but you have all these anglers that come from different backgrounds, and then you're traveling during tournament season, so you just be on the road a lot.
Right.
Wouldn't be a huge setback, but I get what you're saying.
But most of the tournaments are in the south.
In the south.
So they learn the pattern more than, say, northern schools.
Yeah.
Well,
they got it figured out.
The northern schools are going to recruit southern kids.
But surely there's like some crossover.
But if you're from Florida, you go to Michigan to fish, or you gonna stay down?
They give
in the
you a
south?
full ride. I went to Huron University. Where the hell's that?
in the Arctic.
I went there.
That's why people are good at wrestling there, because there's
Nothing else to do. Wrestling and soccer girls. That's it. That's about it.
That's all there is to do.
Walleye fishing and pheasant hunting.
So you're looking at those. Man, there's so many distractions with this technology, ruining my progression of thoughts. I was going somewhere with this. College fishing. So how many tournaments are there for the Bassmaster College Series? You said there's more college opens than there are opens?
Oh, there might be.
There's 9 opens.
Yeah, because you have like the South Division and everything for the normal opens, but the college division.
Not anymore. It's just 9 now.
Oh yeah.
The MLF's got
Yep.
the northern, southern, and central plains.
Told you, I've been geeking out.
The college series, I feel like has 8 to 10 tournaments.
So it's similar.
Similar.
But they also have some mini-series, like they have a fall mini-series.
Yep.
So basically, you can just fish all the goddamn time.
Right.
Yes.
And never have to go to class. Like, sorry, I got a tournament.
Got a pre-fish. Practice today, it's morning bite. I won't be in class. You think you'd ever, do you ever worry about burning out?
No.
Like you're just that obsessed?
Yeah.
See, that warms my heart. Because
I gotta see you cheering up right there.
that's like me. Not the same. We are not the same. So, I'm not trying to paint you in this picture of being a dirty old catfish like myself. But my life is fishing.
Yep.
If I couldn't fish, why even be alive? You know,
Exactly.
that's how I feel, and not apparently you feel that way. But it's just cool to see you so passionate or hear you didn't hesitate for a second. That was cool, you know.
Well, that kids tournament, the second kids tournament I was part of, that lake that's just west of town. Colby fished at what time did the adult tournament start? 6 a.m.?
6.
And I showed up at 2 when the kids tournament started, and he's still fishing. He won the adult tournament. It was over by noon.
Yeah.
And then I show up and he's pulling up what was it, 6.5 pounder?
6.5, yeah.
You got 6.5 out of that pond?
Multiple.
Yeah, and then I caught a 5 3/4 right after it.
Jeez. What are they biting on?
Drop shot.
That makes sense. Especially,
Green sunfish.
I'm just thinking about how many people fish it.
I don't think it gets a lot of pressure.
No.
Not now that it's not flag owned. Now that the owners
Yeah.
have switched, they've cut down
Oh, that was the
participation.
pond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Scranton community.
No.
That was my first kids tournament.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
No, the second one. No, if you pull a 6 pounder out of Scranton,
That's
you're
what I
doing
was like,
something.
whoa.
Now a
And
3
I just
pounder.
fished daily.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Then
Yeah.
So you see where my direction of thoughts led me. But yeah, okay, a deep, clear gravel pit.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. It also makes sense there'd be a monster largemouth in there.
Yeah.
There's probably shit in there that make you scratch your head. You know, like
Yeah.
Well, last year we saw a crappie come out of there that was over 3 pounds.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was a dinner plate.
well,
I
Yeah,
think it was
Garrett's
like-
got multiple 17.
I think it was
foot inches
17-inch
out
crappie that was
I
like
talked
3
to
pounds.
Flack and took the fishing club kids there, and there was a kid caught a 15-inch crappie.
Yeah.
And I mean, this was garbage weather. It was the spring, which that's good for crappie fishing, don't get me wrong, but not when it's 45 degrees, you know, and the wind's blowing 25 mile an hour.
there. The kid's out hypothermia, and Spencer's like,
Yeah.
suck it up.
I was just like, I hope we catch anything. And
That's a good place
The
to
kids who
catch
did that
anything.
stuff are diehards. Were you on that one?
No, I was in sports at that time.
But I couldn't remember, like, because I did that little in-school fishing
Yeah.
club thing, and then I took kids after school. I couldn't remember if you went on any of those or not.
I
I
didn't.
wasn't sure. You know,
He didn't want to pick up bad habits.
start picking up the live bait. Is that a dirty word? Like, do you hear live bait and just like stings you a little
It
bit?
cringes.
I don't know. I wish they'd let the boater fish for crappie with live bait while they're fishing. I'd love to have a bobber sitting around on the edge of the boat catching crappie.
They don't want you to scoop up a 7 on that
Yeah,
minnow.
bobber. It's possible.
it is.
The biggest bass, no, second biggest bass I've ever caught in my life, which is the only fish I've ever mounted. Caught when I was 14 on one bobber. The biggest bass I ever caught, which probably make you think less of bass, maybe. It ate a bluegill head under a bobber.
Nice.
24-incher.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was spawned out, like skinny as a rail, but it went 24 inches on the tape. I'm like, and I think it weighed 5 3/4 or something, which is probably why it ate a goddamn bluegill head. Yeah, I was catfishing, obviously, and set the hook.
It had a cardboard sign sitting on the tree. Little word for food.
I set the hook thinking it was a nice cat, because, you know, solid.
Yeah.
And then it freaking jumped.
That's not a catfish.
It was just weird, like so many weird things about that. Biggest bass I ever caught on a bobber, bluegill head, and there was, like it was at a pond, one of my buddy's ponds where they feed the fish like daily, like the catfish. You're throwing out dog food.
Right.
These catfish are swimming everywhere in this pond, like bruisers, 5 to 15 pounders, just mowing down this dog food. And I'm like, I'm gonna pitch this bluegill head in there and scoop one up. And it was in the water for 30 seconds. A freaking largemouth. Scratching my head on that one. That was also the day, no, it wasn't the day. Same buddy, different day, that I knocked my tooth out. Did I ever tell you I knocked my tooth out?
No.
We've been friends for a long time. So, my buddy Nate, this is my buddy Nate, and we went to a gun show. And-
Like this guy?
No. Like
It was a 2-person gun show.
the bang bang gun show.
I came in second place.
Good showing.
Yeah.
He saw a pistol grip pump 12 gauge and had to have it.
That sounds like you could lose a tooth with it.
So he bought it and he had to go shoot it. So he went out and shot it at a tree, whatever. I'm like, oh, that's neat. Let me shoot it. And then he hands me the gun, and I remember that he had a clay pigeon in the back of his truck. Says, throw that thing up in the air, I'm gonna hit it with this. Throws it up in the air. I followed up with the gun. On the way down, as I'm aiming, the gun creeps slower to my face. Not thinking about it. Pull the trigger, and that pistol grip hits me right in the mouth, busts my lip clean open, and shoves my tooth right here to the roof of my mouth.
Oh.
And without thinking, I just reach up and go, popped it back in. It sets back in. I'm bleeding everywhere. My tooth is loose, so don't touch it. Don't mess with it. Just let it sit there. Get some ibuprofen. Maybe drink beer. Ended up being okay, but like a month later, I started feeling weird. So I went to the dentist. They looked at it. They're like, "Yeah, you severed the nerve connection in your tooth. We're gonna have to have a root canal." Only time I've ever had any like real surgery on my mouth, but I never did a root canal over that one. All because of that stupid pistol grip 12 gauge. And
Did you hit the clay pigeon?
no. I want to say yes, but that would lie. All right, so you're gonna fish the college. So there's options for going pro. Are you thinking? Is there one you really, really want? Would really, really like dream about?
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
No, we're not there yet. Like, is there a direction where you're gonna like lean towards it? Obviously, like you can change your mind and stuff down the road. Like different opportunities pop up and might lead you one direction or the other. But if you could end up professionally bass fishing for any league, which one's it gonna be?
Bassmaster leagues.
Okay. So how do you imagine getting there?
Probably qualifying through the opens.
So you're gonna fish the college route,
Yep.
kick everyone's ass, and you're gonna hop in the opens, win Angler of the Year in the opens, and be Bassmaster.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then I'll
That's the
listen to
game
you
plan.
on the Mercer podcast.
So that's what Corey's gonna do this year, right? He's gonna win the opens?
No. So the thing is, right now they switched it to 9 events. Where it used to be, I think, a north, central, south,
Yep.
where
Right.
they took the top 3 out of each of those 3
Yep.
divisions, and then you only fish 3 tournaments in each. Now they consolidated it. They have 9 tournaments, so you got to take 9 weeks of vacation, pay $1,800 of entry fees for 9 tournaments
Wow.
to qualify. Which that's one of the arguments. Like you take the working man out of it.
Yeah.
The other argument is, well, people qualified that shouldn't have. Like you get lucky in 2 tournaments, you finish in the top 10, and then suddenly you're fed to the sharks at the top level. That's their other argument. And then also, like, if you can't afford it in the opens, you probably won't be able to afford it the first year, so you're going to go bankrupt, pissing away this dream. They want to bring people up who are actually ready. So, like, I kind of get that, and Corey's in that boat, like, he was co-angler of the year. So I believe they pay entry fees for 3 tournaments as being co-angler of the year.
Which used to cover the whole season.
Right. Now it covers 3, and then you got to cover the other 6. So that'd be what, $8,400 in entry fees.
Not travel time
Right.
and hotels and
Right.
Yeah.
So you mix it all together.
$30,000 and tackle. And
He fished 3 with the intention of, strike out or hit a home run.
yes.
And he had a good showing in his last one. I mean, middle of the pack, but 200 some boats, middle of the pack, like 100th place, because he's trying to win and just be able to make the Bassmaster Classic. If you win an open event, you automatically
Make it go
qualify.
classic.
Yeah.
So he had 3 shots.
He's got one more. He's
One
gonna
more?
fish. I think at Lake of the Ozarks. Hopefully he does good. I don't know. Dude can fish.
Yeah. He's got more flathead this year than I have.
He's
Or
got,
at least early he did.
what's ironic is, I was going to say he caught a bigger flathead than me, then I remembered that my biggest flathead of the year, I didn't even have a camera with me. It was just a kayak floating on a whim. One of my buddies that was floating with me brought bullheads, and I brought fishing poles because we were on the water. So I caught a 22-pounder, or 20, it was probably 20 to 25 on a channel cat rod. That's all I had.
Oh, that's right. You guys, we fished the night before that.
Yes.
And then you went and did a float.
Yep.
I do remember that now.
Yeah. But yeah, he caught like 20, 22-ish. 18 to 22, we'll call it.
Yeah.
He's also got a bigger blue cat than you now.
Oh, really?
Well, this year.
Oh.
He caught a 57.
I've caught a 0
Yeah.
this year.
That's
I haven't been blue cat fishing.
That's true.
Because usually we go, my birthday's in
Are
March.
you going to Kansas?
Sometimes we go down there, but usually in March we take a blue cat trip.
Yeah.
And we didn't do that this year. And I haven't made it over to the west or the south yet. So I need to do that.
That's what I was talking about. We need to figure out what days you have open. But we'll figure it out after the podcast.
I've been so struggling trying to figure out flathead for guide trips that's consumed me.
Yeah.
I could care less about anything else until I get that figured out.
Yeah.
Because I got quite a few more guide trips coming up in August and September, and I'm out of options.
I don't know how much figuring out there is.
Yeah.
Like, I have played every card.
I'm about to drive south to a pay lake, pay to catch one, bring it back, put it in Spring Lake, and then fish for it the rest of the year.
You can put it in one of our rivers and double the flathead population. No,
Do you think it winter killed? Truthfully,
I don't think a winter killed all of them. I think fish died over the winter.
like more than normal, like
Yeah.
considerably more
Yeah.
than normal.
Yeah, I think that played a part. And I think the drought, just over time, like every year since we've had that drought, it's gotten progressively worse. And it's hit a low, like all-time low for me this year.
Rock bottom, we call that.
Yeah. The worst I've ever seen it since I started fishing for him is this year.
By far.
And I know more than I've ever known. And like I said, I played every single card I have to play. Plus tried a bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
And nothing has like led to a consistent pattern. Nothing. It hurts me.
Yeah, this late in the year, and I've got 5. I've got 5 flathead.
Yeah. I'm 4 times better than you. Maybe 5.
And fish 10 times more than me, so.
No.
Let's talk about the tournament that I was kind of handing out stuff and then you were fishing. And I introduced you to JB's Fish Sauce.
Oh yeah.
The guy that we were just talking about, that Corey Weaver that's on the Bassmaster Opens now,
Yep.
because he won Cole Angler of the Year last year. He's actually part owner of that JB's Fish Sauce.
I love that stuff.
It's awesome, isn't it?
I've been hooked on it since you handed it out to me. I mean,
And even that day, like, of course, most of the people there were just throwing a worm and a bobber out.
Yeah.
And there was one girl, she sat there for 20 minutes and didn't get a bite on worm and bobber. And she put that garlic on,
Yep.
and within 30 seconds, she caught a bluegill. And then she cast back out and caught a crappie. Then cast back out and got a bass. It's just amazing, especially when there's pressure or when the conditions suck,
Yep.
how much that stuff makes a difference.
And that day, I was fishing a brush pile, and I thought the fish were done, and I put that JV's fish sauce on, and I caught 3 more fish.
Three
out of it.
more out of when you're like, there's no way I'm gonna catch another
Yeah.
one. Yeah. It's crazy how you throw something against the wall to see if it sticks, and sometimes it just frickin' works.
Yep.
You know, because Spencer's been in the development of a catfish scent. We call it the secret sauce. And sometimes you don't notice a difference at all. Like when you're catching fish on normal stuff, you may catch, let's say 1 more fish than what you would have.
Right.
But when conditions are horrible and you're not catching them in anything else, sometimes that shines. Sometimes you can sit there for 8 hours and not get a bite. You put it on, you catch fish right away. It's just weird.
Right.
But it throws that curveball in that, sometimes Mother Nature's not ready for it. And it's cool when it works.
Yeah.
I just wish it worked all the time. So Corey needs to hook you up because you're an up and comer and he's a there. So you guys need to talk and fish a little bit because Corey's a good dude. He really is. I mean, as far as bass guys go,
Yeah.
he's a pretty good dude.
Well, would he be considered a bass guy if he fishes a catfish tournament?
Yeah, that's where his heart's at. He's not going to use live bait the whole time.
If you fished a catfish tournament, would you feel like a bass fisherman still? Would you be like tainted and unpure?
I'd feel impure.
You'd have to wash your hands a few times.
I don't know if you can wash that off.
I know, I've fished with shad plenty of times.
What do you think is worse, shad, skipjack, or silver and big head carp?
Yeah, the carp, probably.
I'm kind of leaning towards the skipjack.
I've only used skipjack twice. I think that
they
comes to
are
mind.
a shad that eats shad. So they're like literally just
They're marinated in
shad-
shad. They're shad
shadiest
marinated in shad.
shad you can possibly imagine.
Those carp are just nasty.
I cut up a bunch of them. You know what's funny is I'd never caught a blue cat on a silver carp before. It's like some people's go-to bait. First one I caught, 82 pounds. Probably should use a little bit.
Well, you had an 18-pound carp on it.
Yeah. He ate. You bet your ass. We had the head section or head chunk off of that 4-pounder out.
Yeah.
But he ate like a fist-sized body chunk.
It's good to
And
know.
I've been sitting out there for 5 hours.
You gave up hope, and all of a sudden he comes.
No, never give up hope, man. We just talked about that. It can be 0 to hero in an instant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It takes one bite to be like, this is the greatest trip ever.
Yeah.
And it was a great trip.
And a 82 changes the scope quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a 42 is an awesome fish, but then you add 40 pounds to
Right.
it.
Like, or
It's the best I ever.
yeah, like I'd be really happy to catch a 41, and then you slap 2 of those. You know?
And you saved the time from catching them twice. You just caught them at once.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, like, how shallow water I caught it out of. Like, I hooked it and it splashed.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, at night they cruise crazy shallow stuff.
Which you've proven that with flathead for years too.
I don't prove shit.
You have to be.
Like they'll cruise deep water, but they'll definitely cruise shallow water. you
Especially
know?
that shelf.
Yeah, yeah. There's a, I mean, a fish is a fish is a fish. That's what I said I geek out over the bass fishing thing. Like bass are completely different from catfish, except they're not. You know,
Right.
like they're still fish. They relate to edges, they relate to structure, they relate to contours,
Yep.
and combinations thereof at certain water conditions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bulk of the population is here, and then they shift to here, time of year, water level. Like I deal with rivers probably more than you do,
Yeah.
where my life revolves around like, how high is the river? Is it rising? Is it
Yeah.
dropping?
Zip, post front, pre-front.
Water temp for me isn't a huge deal because our small rivers fluctuate in water temperature so fast. Like they'll go up 18, 20 degrees a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. So people, I mean, I think water temp's important, but for me it's general trends. Like, is the water trending up? Because every day it's going to do this, but is that zigzag going up or is it going down? You know, that type of stuff. Whereas you, like, you know, the water temperature changes 3 degrees. That's huge.
Yeah.
You know, like fish are doing stuff completely different.
Oh yeah.
They just jumped in the boat.
Yeah.
They're sick of this shit.
Yeah.
Haven't quite seen that yet.
Well, what's the bass fishing in Iowa like? Because I'll be honest, like my bass fishing for the most part is ponds and small lakes. And every time I went bass fishing, I just fuck up.
Absolute domination
Yeah, like,
every time.
Like it's not difficult. And I'm not saying I'm a great fisherman. I'm just saying like those fisheries are easy. So the places where you're going,
And you put 40 fishermen in the same place.
Yeah.
Where are you going to place?
me?
Yeah.
I'm a win. Winners win.
I just wake up, miss excellence.
Nah, for real though. Like, what's it like on those the lakes you're fishing, or the rivers? You're on the Mississippi and stuff too.
It's challenging sometimes. Like sometimes you go the whole day without getting a bite, and then other times you catch 5 fish in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But compared to other states, it's definitely pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be easier to catch fish. Maybe not the size of fish, but in my mind, I was imagining it easier to catch.
Quantity, you got better quantity.
Yeah.
Quantity
You get a lot more
here.
fish.
The quality's down there.
Okay. So
I
I'm
mean-
not completely amiss on
No.
that.
No.
But Iowa's tough.
Yes,
Okay.
But I will say with the quality of fish here in Iowa is getting way better.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the bass are getting big. Like the little lake up northwest of here.
Yeah.
Um,
I've heard good things about that one. But that's
Three-
just one of many.
right, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, we fished it, and average fish was 2 pounds.
Right.
You know, and now I think this year it took 2-day tournament, 32 pounds to win it.
Yeah.
Really?
So the quality of fish just in that little lake.
So you're catching 3 to 5. So
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Or well, right. 1.5s to 5s.
That's averaging 3 pounds. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a 15, 16 pound day for
Right.
5 fish.
Right.
So 3 to 4 pounders.
Yeah.
Now, as opposed to if you had a 2.5, you were doing good.
Oh, who's the asshole that quit? You don't turn your phone on.
I don't know, but our wheels are falling off here. The camera stopped 3 times now,
All right, I gotta take this phone call.
and my screws come out of my microphone. It literally just came off of my hands. So I don't know what the hell is going to be included on this podcast or not, but we're having a good time either way. So it may be a 15-minute podcast, it may be a 2-hour podcast. We'll see. Unbelievable. I'm just gonna. If I don't touch it, it won't fall.
What'd you
In
do?
theory.
Where's your screw?
It's just dropped.
Oh.
Yeah, it just dropped.
The dog will eat it.
Yeah, I'll find it in the shit. And he carries it to me. What a way to start a podcast. Friggin' Spencer's new dog, just dropping shit on the floor.
Exactly.
So what's the rest of your summer look like? You got a little break before school starts. Are you running cross country this year?
Yeah.
So your workouts are probably started already.
Yeah, I don't go
You working
no. Yeah.
during practice?
Yeah.
You getting any running then? Getting ready? Because you're pretty competitive in cross country,
Yeah.
right?
I went to one practice already, but that's all the.
That's all you've
this
done?
Summer.
That's gonna suck first week.
It's gonna be fun to see.
Yeah. And you used to wrestle quite a bit growing up.
Yeah.
Kind of cut that out, but you still play soccer
Yep.
quite a bit. And do you play a league, like in the spring?
In the wintertime, I played
In the
the league
winter.
over in Ames.
Playing indoor?
Yep.
That's fun. I used to do
Yes.
that in college a
It is
little bit.
fun.
That's a good time. You can check them in the borders like hockey. So you're going to be a senior next year, so you'll come out, you'll run cross country, you'll get that done. Then you'll go to your winter, you'll play some soccer, you'll go to your fall or your spring, you'll play some soccer, and then it's Bassin,
Yep.
graduation, and moving on.
Oh yeah.
So if you had top 3 schools right now that what's on your plate? Your top 3
Missouri
colleges.
State, Weber. Ooh. There's a lot of good colleges to choose from.
There is, but I
think-
figured you've been in contact with some that.
I'd have to say for my third one, Texas A&M. They've got a pretty good program going.
I
down
can
there.
see that.
You can go down there
You'll
and catch
be-
an alligator guard.
Well, you know,
It's a scientific fact.
I've proven that.
you talk about alligator when the college kids were down at Harris Chain this year,
Yeah.
pre-fishing. They were actually catching alligators on spinnerbaits.
I almost threw my cast net on an alligator this winter. Not even shitting you. One little bit. Like I would go last year's. I went down to Florida and ran guide trips over the winter, and I was looking for shad with my forward facing, and they're fast. So I'm throwing a 10-foot net, which opens up 20 feet wide, and it's got 1.6 pounds per foot. This is like a goddamn 40-pound net, and it's made like it'll kill your shoulder, but it sinks fast. Because these are big shad, like 15 to 20 inches that swim quick. Yeah, imagine the bass that eat them. Tell you what, I threw that net one time down there, and I had 25 pounds of largemouth in that net.
Oh.
They got released, don't worry. So I was looking on the live scope, I saw a school, and like I'm looking, and don't even look ahead of me. I just see where they're at and throw where they're at, and as I throw, this net is leaving my hand, and I'm looking up, and there is a freaking alligator in front of me.
And they're both going.
And this net is like $250 mullet net, and I'm like, this net is in the air, and I'm thinking it's gonna land on this thing.
It's gone.
And I'm gonna have to destroy the $250 mullet net that I bought a week before. A week before, because I had my other 2 nets that just didn't sink fast enough to get them. So I bought this thing, and it showed up like 3 days before this happened, or 2 days or whatever. But the net missed his nose by less than a foot. And he was not going no. Like when the net landed, he just sat there. not giving a shit, and I didn't catch a shad. But anyway, so the river I'm on is the Apalachicola River, which I'm not big on naming bodies of water, but I'll say that because the first stop for the Bassmaster Elite tournament was Lake Seminole, which is the reservoir directly upstream of the Apalachicola River. The place I stayed was right on the shores of Lake Seminole. We had a dock on the lake. It was a badass little spot. Like, it worked out freaking good. And no, I don't have very much money. I just found a deal and got lucky. But anyway, I could not figure out for the life of me, like, there was dudes bass fishing right out behind the house I was in all the time. I'm like, man, people must really love to bass fish this lake. And then one day, like, it's this little collection of houses on the shore. I'm leaving the river, come back, and then I noticed, like, there's 3 jacked up Toyota Tundras with full wraps. Like, one was Trocar, I don't remember what the other ones were. Then big bass boats behind them with all these big wraps on them. I'm like, huh. Wonder who the hell
They
that
take
is.
these weekly clubs pretty serious.
And then I went to Bainbridge.
Wednesday night league.
And I went to Bainbridge, which is a town close by where they launched out of.
Yep.
And which is a really cool town. Like, Bainbridge is the coolest town nobody's ever heard of. But I go there and then
I thought Jefferson was. But no, it's not.
I go there and they have a list of, like, events, and on the list of events was Bassmaster Elite Series tournament, which was the weekend after I left. Like, I already had my dad set up to fly down, and he was gonna, then I pick him up at the airport, then we go hunt pigs.
Yeah.
But had I known that prior, I probably would have pushed it back a week just to be able to hang out,
Right.
and, like, go check out that tournament. Like, that would be cool to watch the weigh-ins.
You could have been selling 7-pounders off the side.
Yeah.
I don't. You probably went and got the deal on the place the next week, though.
Deal on the plates.
Place where you
The
stayed,
place you're at.
right on the lake.
What about it?
You said you found a deal.
Oh, I got that deal in the summer prior.
Right, but a week later, it's probably not the same price.
No, he probably.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, this guy, I bet it was. Like, he was a priest.
Oh, probably was.
and he, like, we took good care of the place, and we paid him what he asked. And apparently that's not common down there, because he was like, come back anytime, you know? I just left it how he showed up and, you know, paid you what you wanted me to pay you. And he was so excited that we actually paid him.
Wow.
Apparently, he told me some stories. Apparently it's rough down there.
Huh.
So I don't know. I might go back this winter. I might go to Bama. It just depends on how everything shakes out. But if I spent as much time in Bama as I did in Florida, I think I'd catch some big, like, really big fish. Like, they're just not available in Florida like they are.
You got some 60s this year? Didn't you get a couple 60s?
No. The biggest one I got in Florida was 51.
51?
You know, which is I've been going there for 2 years, and that's the biggest one I got in 2 years. But I got a lot more in that 32 51. Like, I think I caught 3 or 4 that were 44 to 46, which the year before that I got 1 that good.
Which were better conditions than what last year was.
No,
No.
Yeah. Last year did suck.
Yeah.
But I'm just figuring things out. Back to what we were talking about at the beginning, is start putting together those pieces and knowing where to go and what to do, and, you know, then you add the electronics on top of that, you're like, dangerous. I want to be dangerous.
I don't know. Anything electronic for you just goes the other way.
Yeah. That's true.
It's more of a crutch than a danger zone.
Well, hopefully with Corey in the boat, he's kind of a guru with that stuff.
Yeah, but yours just implodes.
The old Helix 10, she's been doing pretty
She
good.
Good?
The live
That's
scope,
awesome.
pretty hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like, I turned it on the other day to try and catch shad, and it said transducer not connected.
Mine's done that like 4 times this year.
Yeah, well, I turned it off.
So pissed.
Couldn't have had
Ours
that
has been
problem.
fine.
We turned it on and off 4 or 5 times. 5th time it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been on a couple of my guide trips. Like
Yeah.
it'd be fine, which I don't need them for the way I fish my guide trips. But it pisses you off when you put your boat in, you hit it, and transducer not found. Well, I see it. Why
Right
can't
there.
you? It is in the water right there.
Do you have the plus or just the live scope?
I don't have either. It's just my regular Garmin transducer.
Oh.
He's just got a
My Clearview side screen. I got
Side
a
view.
993S whatever.
SV.
yes.
And about every third time I start it, it says transducer's not found.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I say interesting because I had the same thing.
it's bullshit.
Well, it might be just how they're treated too, but they're. I don't know, I'm not here to trash talk.
No.
Electronics companies. I'm a fan of durability.
I'm gonna switch to Hummingbird.
Lowrance is good too.
I
PJ's
don't
got.
like Lowrance.
PJ's
that?
got.
I don't like Lowrance. We had that with the boat we got, the new one.
Yeah.
Came with Lowrance.
HDS or
Yep.
yeah.
There, what do we have? 3 of them. 2 12s. Well, they're all 12s.
Yeah.
We have two on the console, 1 up front. I just don't think Lowrance is as user friendly as.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's
So
different.
we got rid of them and put Garmin's back on.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing
picture
about
on
Garmin,
is so clear.
right?
Yeah.
And the good thing about Garmin too is that they own Navionics.
Right. And
So
they just come standard
with the national tournaments, I don't have to buy those SD cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
for $300.
Right. It's already preloaded on them.
Yeah.
So that kind of worked for us. That's kind of why we went back to Garmin.
No, I get it. And Garmin, I'm a durability first guy. Like Garmin has a super clear image. It's super user friendly to navigate the screen, and you have the Navionics mapping on there, preloaded on all of them. Badass. But when I hit the power button, it doesn't turn on. When I'm 12 hours from home,
That's the
sucks.
problem.
Well, I ended up buying a lithium to run those off of
Yeah.
night and day.
Like as far as how
It-
the image.
Yeah.
See, I've never ran mine
It
on
must-
anything but lithium.
Really, we had just a regular marine battery
Sure.
before.
That's what I've got.
But with the reason I wanted lithium is just because, especially the 2-day tournaments,
They last.
I don't necessarily have to charge that battery, and we can use the electronics all day the next day.
Yo.
Yeah.
No, the image on mine was clearer than yours,
Yeah.
and I think it's because that.
Which I've had a problem with my side screen or my side imaging
That's true.
in the river, but I took it to that pond the other day and it was clear as day. I could see a bass. I could see a crappie. I could see.
Quit dragging on sandbars when you get on plane. Not that I've ever done that.
That's trick to the trade.
It is
That's
funny
gonna
when you hear people are like, man, you gotta level out your transducer, you gotta do all this shit, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna drag that on sandbars.
You just gotta rub a little
It's not
dirt
gonna
on
matter.
it.
And I'm gonna turn the motor off, and I'm gonna lean back, and I'm just gonna push it down. Jet
Yeah.
boat life.
Yes.
It's a different life, man. You'll
is.
never know it.
But
You'll
that's-
never get to know it.
That's the first time in 2 years that my side imaging's ever worked.
Yeah.
Was that one time in the pond.
I have no idea why. Like
I don't
mine,
know.
I've noticed, which is counterintuitive. The image to the right is not as good as the image to the left, but the image to the left shoots through or by the prop wash or impeller wash, whatever. You would
Yeah, it
think-
makes no sense.
You think the right would be worse, but I wonder if it's just like tilted to the right or left. Like sure, if it's not even going back and forth, that's one thing. But if it's tilted right or left, that might be part of the
Might be
problem.
shooting up into the pod or something.
I don't know.
It don't.
It's,
Either way.
It's I'll actually pay attention on the next boat because the next boat is not going to be dragging on the bottom. I hope.
How much money are we putting down right now? I bet you drag it at some point.
I said I hope.
Yeah.
Going behind those wing dikes on the Missouri River is
Gets a little skinny.
well, I'm kind of a hydrology nerd. I'm like a nerd on many levels. But-
In many different aspects.
Yeah, so hydrology is a fun one to dive into because the better you understand how current acts when it comes in contact with other objects or different temperatures or, whatever, you can start to kind of piece together how fish will relate to it. And I don't understand how it functions on the Missouri River with those ring dikes, man. Like,
Because it's A and B makes Q.
yeah. So you have this rock, like this wall of rock that sticks out perpendicular to the current. One would think that the current would cut off the tip, scour out a hole that would create an eddying action that would build a sandbar up in the middle, and then also create an eddy on the bank and scour out a hole on the bank. So you have a hole on the tip, hole on the inside, sandbar in the middle. And then along the back side, you would have a channel carved out. It works like that sometimes.
1 out of 15 is not bad.
But there's been times where you always have a hole off the end of it. Always.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I
Right.
promise you.
Yeah.
But then you might have multiple sandbars and holes behind it. And sometimes you won't even have that hole on I call it the armpit back in that corner. Sometimes you won't even have that. Sometimes it'll be shallow back in there.
Do you think it's large rocks that kind of make the transition? Like they can't push that large rock out?
They all look the same. You could have two wing dikes that look the exact same. In the
To the eye or on the...
To the eye.
Okay.
And then behind them, they look completely different.
Yep.
And I'm not sure why. I wonder if it's like where they're on the bend of the river, because you have the bend of the river, and on the inside you have those wing dikes. And like on the top end of the hole, you have a trail dike that diverts current towards that outside bend, and then you have different spacing of those wing dikes downstream. And that's the only thing I could think that would affect that. But what am I going to do? Put a tape down to measure how far apart they are to figure out what to expect?
I almost think those ones that have multiple holes or maybe a larger boulder or something that doesn't allow it to make that first initial cut.
Like
And it
underneath
goes-
the sand?
And it goes up and over the top of it.
Maybe. I never
You know?
thought of that. Like what can't be seen?
Yeah.
So it's you can
It's never going to change because it's...
But you can't
That's it.
anticipate it. Like
No. Oh, no.
Like on a small
Yeah.
river, I can look at a small river and I can tell you pretty close how deep it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like without a fish finder.
And then you have that rando sunken tree that screws it up a little bit. Here and
Maybe,
there.
but I can usually anticipate those too. Granted, I've spent a lifetime.
You're the one that chopped that tree down, so
Right.
it was there. We need a root wad right here.
Yeah. But the Missouri's just different.
Well, you get so much more power and so many more forces.
Yeah, and different river levels change things.
And it's halfway streamlined for barges, and there's man-made
Let's-
stuff.
Let's talk
fighting
about
nature.
something more fun.
What are we talking about?
What if I told you this?
False.
No.
I'm going with false.
4.
This is on Colby. This is a scale of 1 to 10. How bad you'd want to punch me?
I'm gonna go with 12.
10.
12 right now. 12.
With 10 being like you might hit me right, or you're going to hit me right now. 10 is you're good.
Can we throw
Hold
punch
on.
him?
No, I'm gonna go get a
Make
bat.
sure that camera's working.
I'm gonna go get a bat.
1, it's you might go buy me lunch. Like you don't care. One of my favorite things to share with anybody who's very competitive with bass fishing is, well, think about a tournament where maybe you lost by like 3 or 4 ounces. You sure could use one more 3-pounder in the live well.
Yeah.
So there was a day where I had a hard time catching bait, and I went to this farm pond, and all I could catch were 18-inch largemouth.
Okay.
And if caught on rod and reel, they're 100% legal bait in Iowa. And I took Sid 18-inch largemouth. So I hooked one in the tail with a 12-aught J-hook. Lobbed him out right on this nice sandbar drop-off ahead of this big brush pile.
He just had room to roam.
And a 43-pounder slurped him up about 45 minutes later. This miraculous fight, fought him back, and landed him, let him go, and he was released to turn that 18-incher into a turd.
I'm gonna have to say 9.
Yeah. So I'm just a smidge below being
Death.
As soon as that camera turns off.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want any witnesses.
I better drink another beer. I need to have a follow-up for that because everyone's always speechless in that picture.
Yeah.
There's always that period of awkward silence.
This is waiting for her to hit you. I mean, he's kind of letting me down right now.
Yeah, it's all right.
There's so many objects, you could at least throw something at you.
Sure. So, in your mind, is there really any fish that matters other than bass?
I mean, I like crappie fishing for fun once in a while.
So,
Do you eat fish?
Oh yeah.
Do you eat springtime bass?
No.
Well, here's the thing. He's at the point now. Springtime bass is good.
Mhm.
Cold water. He won't let me throw in a live well.
I've had many of the bass sandwich.
So I think I got him convinced anything over 2 will throw back, but 2-pounders he'll let me keep.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
They make a hell of a fish sandwich.
But the way it is, my boat, we're throwing them in the live well if I want it.
That's right.
That's fair.
If anything's getting thrown back, it might be him.
Been close a time or 2.
I think your over-under's still better than him. Still hip toss right in Missouri.
So what is it about bass? Is it the competition or is it something about the species that really sucks you in?
I mean, can you really not catch catfish?
Oh,
Is that what it is?
I have no idea what it is.
If you can catch fish, you can catch fish. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Like, there are differences, but if you are a hammer, like I think you could take Jason Christie, put him in a cat boat, and he'd have it figured out in a couple hours, maximum.
Yeah.
He might have it figured out in minutes. Like not knowing, like if he had no background in catfishing at all, it wouldn't take him very long to piece together the main parts and probably kick everyone's ass, you know, in a tournament in a very short amount of time. I think a good angler is a good angler. Like I genuinely think I could go to a bass tournament and compete. I'm not going to say I'm going to win. I'm not going to say I'm even going to be in the top half, but I think I would. I think I'd beat some guys.
Troy and Amy do that a couple times a year, just for fun.
Yeah.
And they're a married couple that are pretty high level local catfish tournament people.
Troy's a goddamn channel cat hammer.
Yes.
Like I don't know
Yeah.
what he does in particular, but he consistently finishes
Puts the big dogs up.
extremely high in tournaments. Which channel cat tournaments are the catfishing version of the St. Lawrence River. Like
Okay.
everybody's catching fish that are very similar in size, and the teams that win catch those ones that are just a little bit bigger than everyone else.
Yeah. Consistently.
Yeah.
Every time. So everyone else is pissed.
But anyway, so what is it about the bass that sucks you in?
Honestly, a lot of it's got to be the way you fish for them. Because like
Okay.
you said, that blue cat, you were waiting 5 hours for it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. I
You don't have
got to
an
be
attention
constantly
span,
casting and
Yeah.
reeling.
But there's other fish that you cast and constantly
Yeah.
reel for that don't suck you in the way the green fish do.
True.
So what's the difference there? Like what puts a bass over hybrid stripers? Or what puts a bass over walleyes or northern pike or whatever?
The way a bass fights is really fun too, you know. Like a 2-pound smallmouth will come 3 feet out of the water versus a crappie it'll stay under the water.
Then they don't really fight.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're delicious.
They are good. They are good.
They don't even fight that good.
They look good skiing across the water.
But yeah, like smallmouth, there ain't
They're
another
just- they're
fish in
different
fresh
species.
water that jumps like a
Yeah.
smallmouth. At least not the North American water that I'm aware of.
Right.
Yeah.
I will argue. Talking about dying on hills earlier, I'll die on this hill. Hybrid striped bass fight harder than smallmouth.
They don't jump,
They don't jump.
Right.
but they will empty your reel.
Yes. Like you will watch, like if you're fishing with a medium combo with 10 or 12 pound braid or 15 pound braid or whatever, you'll watch 50 to 100 feet of line melt off your reel with a 6-7 pounder. It is
As you giggle.
in a hurry. Like you throw a whopper flopper, reel it in, they crush it, and just. It is awesome.
Yeah.
I love the bronze ones. I'm not a big largemouth fan. Like I love fishing. I like the punching. I like top water. I haven't done it for a while, but I go smallmouth fishing quite a few times. Every
On
day.
purpose.
On purpose.
Like you drive out of your way to go smallmouth.
I will drive 2 hours to go smallmouth fishing. Actually, I might go smallmouth fishing Friday.
If we go to Wisconsin in the middle,
We're going smallmouth.
we need to go to that smallmouth lake.
Yeah.
As much as he talked it up last time we were there, we're going to see Scott Monroe, the owner of Drastic Plastics.
How much you want?
And he's a bass guy. And he's got this smallmouth lake that is supposed to be unbelievable.
How much you want to bet that I catch a bigger smallmouth this weekend than we do at that lake in Wisconsin?
Case of beer. That's our normal bet.
Done.
Case of beer.
Done.
You want to bet that Woody's the next one to shit on my floor? Case of beer.
I'll win that bet. But Skip, I ain't taking it. Actually, he's probably done shitting for the day.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I just saw what he brought me, and it was half his body weight.
Twice.
Yeah.
He must be growing, because that's his third dump of the day. Just like that.
That is somebody. Good job.
But yeah, I don't know, like, I don't know why the largemouth don't suck me in, like, well, I think some of it's the rivers.
Yeah.
Like catching, like you can go to one of our local rivers and catch smallmouth. To catch a largemouth is weird.
Yeah.
And granted,
They're there.
I've caught a few,
Yeah.
you know, mostly bycatch walleye fishing. Hell, I caught a 4-pounder out of freaking one of our local rivers.
That's a good bass.
Actually, you know what the weirdest one was? The absolute weirdest one. I didn't weigh it. It was 20 and a half inches. 20 and a half inch largemouth
On the river?
out of a creek that dumps into one of our flood control impoundments. We can talk about it later if you want. But it was on a diddy pole. Ate a bluegill on a diddy pole.
Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah. I've caught all kinds of weird
on
shit.
the surface?
Yeah.
They did it?
Yeah. Got all kinds of weird shit on diddy poles, man.
Oh, I'm sure.
I found one that was untagged. I don't know if the one in his story was tagged or not, but I found one that was untagged. That it was. I'm pissed that I didn't see it before. The problem was they were set. There's 2 of them set under a tree that was heavily shaded. The only reason I saw it is because there was a goddamn pelican hooked in the eyeball, like flapping around. So I drove.
Pretty good giveaway.
Yeah. I drove over there and the freaking pelican. So I cut the line, took the hook out of its eyeball. Felt terrible for it. Like it was exhausted.
Did you catch anything on the eyeball? I'd have had to try it. I'd have had to try it.
I threw the hook in my trash bag and cut the lines off those. They were, I can't remember if they were willows or PVC.
Either way, they were there way longer than they should have been.
They were untagged. Cut
Yeah.
them off. And the pelican just sat there like had no idea what plane it was on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it died. It probably died.
Probably.
Didn't look good, but yeah, I've caught bass on diddy poles, no walleyes. I don't know. I feel like there's something else I'm missing.
I'm just pretty much a jail cat guy for diddy poling. If I set diddy poles, it's to go have a fish fry. Like I'll go out and run 5 and then have fish that night.
My biggest rod and reel flathead is 55 pounds. My biggest diddy pole flathead is 55 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you got several 50s your bachelor party weekend, didn't you?
That was the weekend where we caught the fish.
Yeah. Didn't you catch like 2 or 3?
No, the other one was just under 40.
I thought like above the jam you caught a big one and then you went below the jam.
We did. So there's
Yeah.
2. We caught a 39 above it and a 55 below it. And
Which one did you check first?
the one above.
The 39?
Because we were
You're like, yeah!
we were on our way
Then
down.
you go down and you're like, oh my god.
But that's the only 50 plus I've ever caught on diddy.
On a diddy pole.
I haven't ran them in a long time. I kind of miss it. Like, it's just fun.
I kind of want to so I can see one.
Yeah. But it's cool. Like you guys fish for bass. You probably never ran diddy poles.
No.
I grew up catfishing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gene Hackney, is it? No, what, Greg Hackney.
Yeah.
I said that earlier. Corey made fun of me because I called him Gene Hackney. Should be Gene, because it'd be like mean Gene Hackney. Greg Hackney, listened to him on a podcast. Yep. He was talking about running diddy poles growing up. So, but anyway, it's cool because like the mystery involved, depending on what bait you use. You know, you're running your boat up river or down river, shining the bank with spotlight, looking for your diddy poles, and you see one just bob,
submarine,
or just you get close to it and it just completely disappears under the water, and you have no idea how big it is. But you
might be an alligator.
It might be. It might be. But yeah, that 55 is the biggest I've ever caught on one. I think Sam caught 60 on one.
That's crazy.
60 something.
Especially where he lives. I'm surprised they have that big a fish up there, though.
They have bigs.
I know, but
They don't have very many, but they're big.
Yeah, I'm amazed that up there has that much bigger fish than like south of us. Well, now where you are fishing all the time.
They're probably just as many up there now as there is down here. Sucks.
It's crazy. I've never had a year like this since I started flathead fishing a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I would catch this many on a normal year way back when I was in college or whatever because I didn't fish very much.
Right.
But when I fish all the time and my numbers are still at the single digits, it about makes a guy puke.
Yeah. That's why I went to Missouri last weekend. What do you do?
Yeah. You adapt, overcome. So yeah, I've got a trip Saturday I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
But I'm going to head down your way, I think.
Sounds good. Well, let's wrap this one up. Last cast.
The last cast.
The last cast, you get to talk about whatever you want. For however long you want, you know, because it's like, you know, you make
yeah, you can have
last casts
12,
as
you
you
can
want.
have 12 last casts. You're running the boat. You just...
I don't have good luck with last casts.
Well, he got a pike, did him dirty.
We're up at Okoboji.
I don't know what that means.
Well, here's what
Here,
happened.
talking to the microphone.
2 years ago up at Okoboji, pre-fishing,
Yeah.
we were about done. And we kind of figured out the bass. And so now we're just kind of screwing around, just, you know, the pike we're hitting the cranks. And so he's like, ready to go. I said, one more cast. So cast it out, caught a pike, not very long, maybe a little guy. Boat flipped him up, grabbed him, no problem. All of a sudden he did a head shake in my hand. Hook went right through.
Trouble.
Oh.
Trouble.
And I didn't have any dikes to cut it, you know, so we yelled at this guy that was same area. It was in Emerson Bay up there.
Yep.
And like, you got any dikes to? So I just got a hook in my hand. He trolls over literally at about a half a mile an hour. My face is just white as a ghost, about ready to faint. I'm like, God, this hurts, you know. Colby's got the fish, and he's squeezing it so hard, shit's coming out of it.
Wait, you haven't taken the fish
No,
off the hook yet?
because it had the
No,
hook.
because I had the hook on the bottom of the mouth and the top, and so he would try to take the pliers.
Right.
And the
Well,
fish
then
would
it's starting to
shake.
pull this. I'm like, so what we wanted to do is just cut the hook off.
Right.
And so that's what we did. And
I probably would have cut the head off the fish.
Yeah.
That probably would have been step one.
so he finally comes over.
Probably would have been illegal fish.
cuts it off, and Colby throws it back in, but there's no way. I mean, it still had the hook in it, the treble, so
Yeah.
it couldn't open its mouth.
Mhm.
So it was going to die anyway. I think it was dead anyway from.
Front
Python.
force trauma.
So yeah, so it drove the boat back to the dock, went up, got the truck, backed it down. He drove the boat on. We went to the ER and got the hook out of the hand. Won the tournament the next day.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do that more often.
No, I don't think so.
Infection kicked in 3 days later.
Yeah, no, it did not feel good.
I have a similar story. This, just to add on to your last cast, we're going down this. I got on this light line kick for a little while, and it's been periodically on and off, pretty much my whole life, where I'm like, how big of a fish can I catch on a 4-pound line or a 2-pound line? Just dumb shit. I was fishing a reservoir that there was a good white bass bite on. took an ultralight down and was throwing a jointed rapala, and they were losing. Oh, there was fish. So got there first thing in the morning, and there's thunderstorms rolling in, not knowing how long I can fish. This was several years back before I had a smartphone to check the weather or anything like that. I'm just looking at the sky like, all right, we'll see how long this lasts. Fish were losing their minds, and I thought it was white bass or wipers or something like that. First or second cast, a 10-pound channel cat, I thought crushed the bait. And what I learned later on, these were all catfish. I ended up catching a pile of catfish. First cast, snagged a 10-pounder in the tail with this jointed rapala. And 4-pound line, not a lot of control. A 10-pound channel cat that's hooked in the tail.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you could catch hooked in the mouth, yeah, not that big of a deal. You take your time, you get him. Hooked in the tail, I'd get him close to the bank, he'd take off. Get him close to the bank, he'd take off. Got tired of that game because I'm seeing all these fish blowing up and I want to try to catch those. I reach down to grab the channel cat by the tail that the crankbait's in. Crankbait goes into my finger, and I have a 10-pound, 30-inch channel cat flapping around with this hook buried in my finger, buried in his tail. And I didn't cry, but I had to fight back tears real hard. And ended up, I mean, we were attached, so I pulled him up on the bank, stepped on him, got the hook out of the channel. Thank God it wasn't like, you know, caught multiple ways in its mouth. It was just one hook in his tail, popped it out, kicked him back in the water, grabbed my pliers, popped out of my hand, went back to fishing. But goddamn, did that hurt.
It hurts. There's no lie, it hurts.
Yeah. So, last cast, keep going. Sorry. Had to add to that.
I'll jump in. I just want to thank you guys. You know, we've talked about this since wintertime. You know, just trying to find a time. But, you know, Colby's in high school. He's busy. He's got sports. You know, I got to watch you play a little soccer this year. That was fun. He's a very good soccer player, and it's as far as going to a soccer game, it at least makes it enjoyable because there's about a handful of you guys that are pretty damn good. So it was kind of fun. But soccer sucks.
Whoa. Soccer doesn't suck.
And bass fishing.
Watching soccer sucks. I have a lot of respect for the people who play it.
Yes.
I'm just not going to watch it.
So no, thanks for coming on. You know, I wish you the best of luck the rest of the year. You know, hopefully your drive takes you where it should.
Yeah.
You know, because you work your ass off. You're always on the water, and you're hungry.
Yeah.
So I enjoy all those aspects about that.
Well, thanks for having us. Can't wait to see where this goes.
I'll give you a tip for your future podcast when you're famous. Plug your shit. Like, you got your socials, you got like these different media outlets that sponsors love when you got big numbers. Not to say that this podcast is a huge numbers podcast, but anytime you can pull any little bit towards your social media audience,
Yeah.
like, don't go over the top on it.
Yeah.
Because then you're just an asshole. When you have
We're not talking NASCAR interview here.
but when you have the chance to plug yourself, like that's kind of what this is. Part of what this is reserved for is talking about your social media. So like, if somebody wants to follow you, where are they going to follow you at?
Instagram, Colby Angell Fishing.
Hell yeah. Do you have anything else like TikTok?
I do have
YouTube?
TikTok. It's the same username.
Okay,
But that's it.
gotcha.
YouTube channel's coming in the future.
Okay, like
Nice.
tomorrow?
No.
Why you
more
waiting
like
on?
more like I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to do a consistent video. You just throw them on when you get them.
Yep.
But it's already built,
Yep.
and you're starting to build slowly.
Yep.
So
Number
that-
start tomorrow.
So then when you're in the elite, everything's paid for.
You got TikTok videos?
I had like 10 posted. But
Okay.
I just started posting on there.
So every time you do a TikTok video, make it a YouTube short.
All right.
Yeah. That one's free. my last cast is I'm excited about tournaments coming up. I wasn't planning on the August 5th one. Talked to Corey about it, and he twisted my arm. I'm like, all right, let's let her rip. I'm going to keep after the flatheads here, even though it's a pain in the ass, and it sucks, but a big dog can show up at any time.
Saturday, they're gonna.
Keep heading to the big water, and keep doing that, and trying to learn more and more and more and more and more and more all the time. And I'm excited about winning a boat and a truck in a month. You know? How badass would that be?
About as badass as me winning the $400 million Powerball.
That'd be a lot better.
All of us will have new boats and trucks.
Wow.
I promise.
At least me, because mine's leaving next summer.
Your spot
And I'm
will still
telling
be
you what,
reserved. It'll
I
just have a
told-
different boat in it.
I told him, I said, okay, you're taking the boat. My fishing's done. I'm not fishing from shore after all these years of being out in the boat.
Yeah.
It's like, that'd be tough to do.
I got one for sale, bud.
I know you do.
And he's had several boats here in the barn, so one time or another.
Right. But what else? So tournaments, flatheads, blues. Gonna be doing, because the flat fishing sucks. There'll be some more hybrids fishing, some smallmouth.
How about training dogs? You got time to train dogs?
I think you can answer that.
I think he was pretty well trained. He knew right where to take the shit.
I'm not sure if he's going to chew on that electrical cord when he wakes up, but I kind of hope so.
Oh, he heard that. He's like, suck it, Red.
The Ewok awakes.
If you want to support me and this podcast, indirectly support this podcast, I guess, check out Waterland Sunglasses, promo code RC15.
Badass.
They
Sunglasses.
best bang for your buck sunglasses there are. And then Bigfoot Bushcraft Fire Starters, promo code Spencer Bauer. Those would be the big dogs.
Whisker Seeker tackle.
Yep.
Look at Whisker Seeker.
Yep.
They got top of the line catfish gear.
They got a lot of stuff.
They
And
do.
I can vouch that bait tank. You talk about durability being number one.
Tell them your bait tank story, buddy.
That'll be the end of my last cast. I caught a 3-4 pound flathead on a rocky bank and couldn't shove the stringer into the rocky bank, so I tied it to the handle of the bait tank, which was sitting on flat ground,
Full of water.
full of water and bluegills. And he, at sometime between the time frame of 1 a.m. and 5:30 a.m., which was my last, I had a bite at 1, I had a bite at 5:30.
It's like a forensic science going on.
Sometime in this time frame, he ripped the bait tank off the bank into the water, floated downstream, wake up at 5:30 to a bite, reel the fish in, go to rebait, and there's no bait tank.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Hop in my kayak, we float down, which I wanted to fish my way down, and that was not out of the question. Float down 2 to 3-ish miles. At that point, I'd not completely given up the hope, but like 99%
There's no
of my
way,
hope.
yeah.
99% of my hope was gone. And then I see it. I'm like joyful, ecstatic. I paddle to it. The bait tank is open. It's got enough insulation where it's still floating. All the bait's gone. The lid that has the motor and everything is so full of water. The tubes were ripped off of it. The lid was so full of water, instead of pumping air, it was shooting water out like a goddamn fountain. I grab it, flip the lid closed, pull it up into the kayak. The stringer's still attached, flathead's on there, and I could not wait to kill that flathead. And I'm still using it. Like,
That's the awesome thing.
like you want to talk about a plug for a product. Like, I don't know what more you could ask for. I have sat on it, stood on it. I've cleaned fish on it. There's a solar panel on it, and I've got so many knife grooves in that thing. I don't know how it works.
I don't know how to kill it.
Yeah, for real. Like,
Gas in a match, possibly.
there's some things that I'm really nice to, and they quit working, and it pisses me off. I beat the shit out of this thing. And it still keeps it. It's the Energizer Buddy of bait tanks. I don't get a nickel for this. In fact, I don't even work with Whisker Seeker anymore. that bait tank is the shit. I hope they sell 1 million of them because they deserve it. That thing is awesome.
Yeah, it is badass.
The end. My last.
The end. The end. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you're still watching, please give Tasler Guide Service a like and subscribe. We'll see you next week with a video. Have a good week.
See ya.